No more, neter, baya. We seek refuge and pay homage to the Supreme, Most High Creator, whom ordains and conducts all that exists and non-exists. Libation.
Ashe.
No more, hurt, neteru, baya. We seek refuge and pay homage to the company of our ancestors, who manifest as the divine principles, laws, attributes of love, light, nature, and virtues of the Most High Creator. Libation.
Ashe.
No more, Guru, Baya. We seek refuge and pay homage to all the gurus, saints, Sufis, from time memorial and in our present time, for their immense love of the Dharma and humanity, who makes tremendous sacrifices on our behalf for the sake of self and God realization. Libation.
Ashe.
No more, Dharma, Baya. We seek refuge in the teachings of the great realizers, Buddhas, mystics, and sages from time memorial and in our present time, and we shall be as retainers of the gift of grace. Libation.
Ashe.
No more, Sangha, Baya. We seek refuge and pay homage to all of our spiritual communities across all time and space, which give us the impetus, strength, courage, and the help needed for the sake of self and God realization. Not just for our sake, but for the sake of all sentient beings. Libation.
Ashe.
Nephemera, Hotep, Ma'at, Seba, Bhagwan, Afrika, Guru Mojabai, Ibae, Ibae, Ashe, Hotep.
Homage and prostrations to Sakuru, who has grown in the giver of supreme peace, who is Sapurush, the embodiment of pure consciousness, the one and only one without a second, vaster than the sky, infinite, eternal, beyond all time, space, and causality, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, who is the dispel of darkness and the bestower of light, the supreme preceptor and incarnation of divine grace. May thou leadest us from darkness unto the light, and from death unto eternal deathlessness. Namo Guruvaya. on, say it. I thank God tonight. Thank God tonight. Ah, look at two people and tell them I really love the Lord. Come on. Really love the only come to make me strong. And with this you promise never to leave me alone. So I cry. So I cry tell me to let it go. Let it go, let it be. Let it go, let it be. 'Cause oh Lord, Elohim. That's it for me. You can stay if you like. What could follow that can only be nonsense from me. But I thought those particular shubbits summarizes the whole essence of spiritual life. It points out what is absolutely necessary for any man or woman who would embark upon something as perilous as the spiritual path. There just simply isn't any way to succeed at something so difficult as self and God realization unless there is a love of God. The spiritual path is only for those who love the Lord. which can be traveled on the path without that love for the Lord, you see. There is no technologies, no holy words, no scriptures, no strategies, no this, no that, no ritual, no ceremony that could ever function as a substitute for real love of the Lord. If you don't love the Lord, you're wasting your time on this path. I can tell you that, and I can tell you that flat out. All you will get is endless frustration, disappointment, discouragement, stop, quitting, then starting, quitting, then starting, circular movement, back and forth. Nothing comes out of that. If God is love and you wish to merge with him, then you must become loved as well. And you must love the Lord with all thy heart, thy soul, thy strength. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. You see, not a little bit. All of your love, all of your strength, all of your might, 100%. Not sometimes, all the time. And without this kind of intense longing, you simply won't have the strength to survive the ordeal that is spiritual transformation. Love is what makes you strong. Don't you know that?
Yes, sir.
Love of your family gives you the strength to work 3 or 4 jobs if necessary for the sake of their welfare and benefit. You see, there's only one power in this place and every other place beyond this place, and that's love. Without love, you are powerless. The mind will run you over like a Mack truck. So if there's not that love for the Lord, then what's the whole point in being on the spiritual path in the first place? Unless your motive is to love the Lord. In fact, technically, coming to the path should be a sign of your love for the Lord. You're seeking the Lord, you don't even love the Lord. What kind of bullshit is that? How could that possibly end in any kind of union with the divine? So love of the Lord, that's the name of the game. Not how much spiritual information you can accumulate, not your thinking like you're going to figure it out. How will you figure it out? Looking for some secret path by which you are able to steal away, you see. Refusing to do everything but the one thing that is required. Love. You rather plot, strategize. None of that works. And you must find some legitimate basis for your love of the Lord. It can't be contrived, it can't be invented, it can't be borrowed, you see. It must be real love. Nothing like the kind of love we're normally presuming we're capable of. You see. True love. Real love. And so it's up to each and every one of us, you see, to first find some love for the Lord. And that love for the Lord will guide you. It'll take you to all the right places. You'll meet all the right people. All the right books will fall in your hand. Birds, bees, the whole of nature will join in helping you achieve your goal. So look into your life and see on what basis you can genuinely love the Lord. You see. Look for the grace that has been in your life. Where you think that's coming from? You think you did that? I mean, after we become so sophisticated and spiritually educated, we begin to think we did all of this. And good job you got, comfortable home, where do you think all that came from? So let's have some conversation about that. Let's get down to the business. When anyone has become convinced beyond all doubt, truly convicted that there is God, that source from which everything you got has emerged, when one becomes truly convinced of that, beyond all doubt, then the response of that conviction is spiritual life. And where there is not that conviction, you're confusing spiritual life with self-improvement. I suggest you all find you a good psychotherapist. We have a few in the room. I'm no longer practicing. I can give you a referral and get you some therapy. Because what you're on is self-improvement of the ego self. And that's what you're up to. You want to improve your egoic self. You want to go from being an asshole to being saintly, to being mean and evil, to being nice, blah, 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 blah. Spiritual path. It's not purpose for the improvement of your ego self, but rather the annihilation of that egoic self and the recovery of your true condition, your true nature, your survival, your divinity. So this is what there is to be considered. I suggest some brave souls stop me and put me on a tangent. I can go on all day like this. Something to say about it? We can always count on one man. All else fail. Yes, beloved.
Okay, rush shaking everybody. All right. My first question is, hope is the last one too. Can you give us a like a baseline definition of love? And is there more than one love? Well, you just said it's just one love, but can you give us a kind of definition of what that love looks like?
Well, I can't personally, but I can share with you what answer the masters have given about that. And I used to always say that love is the identification with something as being oneself. Love is the disappearance of differences. Love disappears separation, you see. The ego always feel that it is separate from everyone and everything else, you see. Where there's the other, there's ego. Love is that union that disappears your sense of individual separate existence, you see, from God. It overcomes the illusion that you are separate from that which you have your whole being in. You see, how could you ever be separate from God? Under. So that's love from the point of view of the mystics. You see, the cessation of the illusion of being separate from and different from that which we call God. You see, it is a kind of realization. See, it's not just an emotion, it's a realization. Love is a kind of consciousness, it's a state of consciousness. Very different from the kind of love that we're looking for, you see. And the kind of love we're giving people. You see, our love is all coming out of ego, you see. We love others for the sake of our own well-being, never for the sake of their well-being, you see. And the sense of difference is exaggerated in these kinds of world relationships. So love is a great mystery for the intellect. It can't understand it. You see. It's beyond the mind. How can the mind understand that which is beyond the mind, that created the mind? So there is no rational answer that I can give you. But you'll know it. See, you'll recognize it when it happens. And suddenly you're no longer a drop. You are the whole ocean. And so when you by grace are able to recover your true nature, it is always self-authenticating. You simply know. Now, much more probably can be said, but all attempts at talking about it is futile. See, because when you talk about love, you're talking about God. You see. God is love, this force, this power. That is manifest in every nook and corner of the creations, both high and low, you see. So what wouldn't you do for that love? Do you love the Lord? What do you love? We we say we love the Lord, but the Lord is just one thing amongst thousands of other things, you see. I love this, I love that, I love ice cream, I love pizza. Oh yes, and I also love God, I love fine cars. You know, God is just thrown in there like any other art. Your whole life is driven out of love, you see? Don't you notice that? You're always trying to do something that you love. Haven't you noticed? It's just that what you're trying to do has nothing to do with the love of God. You're trying to hold on to your wife because you love her. You're trying to hold on to your husband because you love him. You're trying to make you some money because you love what money can get you. You're always, at all times, impulse to behave out of this love. That love was given to you to liberate you. See? But you use your love to entrap yourself. It is as if God gave us some love to give back to himself. You see? And you're simply squandering that love, giving it to everyone and everything else. And so you have no love left for God. You're all sold out. You've given your love to everything and everyone else. And there's no love left for God. You see, you even see it in those of you who are attempting to do spiritual practice and meditation. Notice, you can't find time for that because you done spent all your time chasing what you love. And you know, oh, I told Bhagwan I was going to do this meditation every day at this time, but damn, I'm out of time and energy. I'm too tired. Well, what did you spend all your energy on? Chasing what you love. No time left. And then, of course, when you become old and sick and decrepit, then you begin to realize that I've wasted all my time loving that which is not worth loving. All that time loving these damn kids, look what they turned out to be. All that money sent them to college, you know what I mean? Jesus Christ. And then you decide, oh, I guess I love the Lord, but you have no energy. You're old, you're feeble, your body all messed up. You got your cancer, you got your diabetes, you got your bad heart. Now, since you can't do anything else, now you decide, oh, I guess I'm going to worship, give my love to the Lord. And that's pretty much how it goes. What you think? So each of us has to look at that. Something else to say about it? Yes.
What was it that had you to develop so much love for Maharaji, being that you were so far away from him?
You have to ask Elijah that question. He will give you a better answer, see him afterwards. But in my own case, I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer that question without making a claim, you see. I can only share with you got me a little moved to love the Lord. And did you grow up poor? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're from the rich side of the family. We're the poor side of the family. How many grew up poor? I mean, poor. You know how it is. Poor.
Surf sandwich.
Surf sandwich. My favorites. Surf sandwiches, sugar sandwiches, those kind of things. Well, those of you who have had that experience could really tell my story, because growing up poor and hungry and so forth and so on, you see, desperate in many cases, you see. Even as a little boy, I guess I must have been maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. And I remember, I think Bilal might remember this better than me, he being older than myself, but we were walking, I think, down Roosevelt Road, going to Douglas Park by the Vada, hungry. Because Bilal them would eat the actual food that Mama cooked. I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in them beans and ham hocks and neck. I just couldn't get into that stuff. I like sweet things, cookies and candies and that kind of thing. We're walking down Roosevelt, go under the viaduct, and out of the corner of my eyes, I see something sparkling. And what was laying on the side was just a pile of change. You remember that? That was it. But here's the interesting thing. For the rest of my life, even up until yesterday, Friday, rather, I always found money. Always. Joyce and I was driving through Oak Park. I went in the store to get some coffee, and on the ground, $40. This has been going on all my life. I'm lucky in money, not in relationships. So you can understand, as a child, coming to the conclusion that God takes care of me. You follow what I'm saying? And not having the intellect to doubt it. Not having a PhD to get in the way of that simple fact. Having no knowledge of Erickson and Freud and Jung, you see, and Nietzsche, you see. Having studied no Aristotelian logic, my mind was not messed up by education and pseudo-knowledge. I was a child, you see. And I had that kind of innocence, that kind of faith. You see? Because you can't have faith, you can't have shraddha without innocence. You're trying to have faith, but you're trying to make yourself have it. You see? You twisting your arm. That's because there's nothing innocent left in you. It's been all ringed out. You see? Nothing childlike left in you. And Jesus said, suffer the little children to come unto me for such. You see, but you don't have none of that left in you. It's been replaced. You see. But in my case, by grace, being a child is there. So I grew up, beloved, with this feeling that something greater than me is taking care of me. All my life. You see? All of my life. And the instances or the coincidences, as Maharaji called them, are long. I mean, we could spend a lot of time just going over that, you see. But essentially, each episode was the same. Always the same. You see. And I was convicted that there is something greater than me, greater than my mama, or greater than my daddy, because my daddy didn't have no money to give me. You see? Greater than Bilal, greater than the other siblings, something greater than everybody, and myself included, taking care of me. You see? In the lyrics of the Shabbat that Rajavil played, the songster was saying, he gave me the victory. See, you have no victory, or you don't see your victory. You see, you too convinced that you're the doer of everything, and that if you don't do it, it won't get done. And therefore, you have no experience of grace. How could you? Your ego is too big, you see, for any grace to come into your conscious experience of it. Ego too big. Your ego takes credit for everything. Don't it?
Yes, sir.
That's what the ego does. It takes credit for what God is doing. And then you love your ego more than God. See? So Bhavika essentially was something that basic. Now, I can give you a lot more philosophy about it and so forth, but in essence, it was something like that. The experience of that which is greater. Any 12-steppers in here? I know you is, but raise your hand. Don't lie, right? Do you remember the third step? You remember the third step? I know it was years ago before you go off. Siddhanta, Tatara, you all remember the third step? What's the third step?
Make a decision,
Life, hope.
Like,
Divided now, come on, you just took the third step, man. You haven't got that fast. Come on, yes. Third step is that you turn this over to your higher power. Acknowledge that there's a power greater than you and turn this thing over to it. Same on the path. Except that's the first step. You can't get to any other ones. Something greater than you must become operative in your life. That greater than your God, your Ishtar. You see, whatever your concept of God is, is that which is greater than you. And you can't do it. You see, you just can't do it. And the ego never wants to accept that fact. You see, you feel insulted when someone tells you you can't do shit. You get angry. Insulted me. You know what I mean? Insulting my intelligence. You see, that's how you respond. Is that about right? I don't need God. I can do it myself. And we come to the path, you see, with that kind of a mindset. I'm reminded of a story. God is having lunch, right? And, the angel sets the plate there. God begins to enjoy his lunch, and suddenly he's observed getting up, running down to earth, right? Then he's back in a flash, right? Curious, the servant asks, Lord, where did you go? I thought your food would get cold. So glad you were back in time, you see, to enjoy a nice warm lunch. So, but what made you interrupt your lunch? And God said, well, one of my devotees was down on the earth and walking along the road, and some day courts surrounded him, and they were going to rob him. And the person, oh yes, so you went to save your devotee and all of that. And God said, no. Before I could get there, he picked up a stick, you know, and started, you know, handling that business himself. And so the servant said, well, I'm happy he came out okay. God said, no, he didn't come out okay. He got his ass whooped. Thought he could do it himself. But we do the same. You're not going to do any meditation because you think you can do it yourself. You're not going to do any saving because you think you can get this thing doing it yourself. You're not going to do any meditation because you think you can read your way. You're not going to do it. Should I stop here?
No.
Because you think you can do it yourself. And that's why you're getting your ass whooped. That's why you're still miserable. If you could stop your own suffering, why are you still suffering? If you could solve the problem of this profound dissatisfaction that is eating you away like cancer, about to drive you insane, if you could do it, why are you still suffering? Answer me. Could it be you can't do it? You didn't create you. You didn't create this body. Not the ego you. The you think you are. To the personality. You're not running nothing. You're not creating nothing. How you going to control all of this? You, ego, is going to control the world. What kind of nonsense is it? I, me, mine. That's the syndrome. That's what the ego keeps you trapped. And the I, me, mine. And with that kind of mindset, there's no receptivity to grace. Maharaj used to say that grace is always already the case. Always, already the case. He says our situation is much like a cup facing down in a torrential downpour. We get nothing because you face down. You're facing the ego. You're not facing God. How will you get grace? You don't even think grace is necessary. You don't pray for none of it. There must be the recognition of the role of grace. But for that, you have to get humbled. Surrender. Bow down. And until that occurs, then you continue in this cycle. Constant disappointment. Never, ever being as happy as you like. Even when you get what you want, you never get what you wanted it for. You see? Like a hungry goat system with a cause. Great void in your life. Trapped in fear. So, I mean, you have to really get are serious about it. But these kind of frank conversation I prefer to have in the context of cooler feedback, because you all know my language is to be rough. And we have guests here today.
It's all good.
So I don't want to offend them. But those of you who have had some feedback, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Gotta get serious. But the problem is you already think you're serious. In fact, you arrogate seriousness and sincerity as one to yourself as some of your qualities and characteristics. Just the ego. Just the ego. The mystics keep telling us over and over again, this ego is not your friend. You think your ego is your friend. You think your ego is you. You think that you are the mind, and that's what you're following. The mind has convinced you that it's you. Ponder that. When you say I, me, and so forth and so on, your reference is your mind and body. So your mind has conned you. Prodigy knows something about this. It's an excellent con artist. It has conned you into thinking that it is you. You become identified with your body-mind as being who and what you are. But you didn't choose to become identified as such. You were conned. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. So naturally, thinking that you are the mind has you totally under control. You're not going to do anything to disobey your mind, because the mind is me. You follow me? And the mystic keeps telling us, no, you're not the mind, you're not the body. You're not the feelings, you're not sensations, you're not the biography, you see. You are a manifestation of God. And you keep saying, no, I'm the body, my mind, my opinions, my feelings, my biography, you see. This is the struggle. Deluded. You think your mind is your friend. You think it's really going to lead you to the truth. You're thinking. You think you're the thinker. You think you are the thinker. You are that which is aware and conscious of the thinker. But the thinker has hoodwinked you. And you believe you are that thinker. So naturally, you're going to rely more on your thinking than you will on God. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Classic con game. A good con artist always make you feel like you're getting something that in fact you're not getting. You see, feels like you got something, but it's a brick in the box. It's not the TV. It's a damn brick. When you get home, got what you wanted. But what you wanted turned out to be nothing. So it gets to be very, very complex. There's some cooler groups that will be reviewing the revolver Dhamma, as we call it, the gift from Radhavira. So I've asked a couple of you rascals to sit with that revolver Dhamma, watch it, see if you can understand what has happened to you. I have not been able to succeed at showing you that. You know what I mean? Because I'm limited to language. And of course, you don't like reading books and studying and thinking and pondering and contemplating. You don't like any of that. So watch a damn movie and let's see if I can help you in a mode that you're more receptive to. You'll learn something, I think. Assalamu alaikum.
Rashi, how is it that you can convince yourself that you're not being conned by the mind or by the ego? Is it best just to release it completely and just go into yourself, or by meditating you can control it better that way?
That's an excellent question, beloved. And I would give you the chance to get with Anupasad and see to it that he gets the revolver down, but then have cooler with it, so that you understand. Or you can see Faraji, a few other rascals in here that are going to be really getting into this, because your question is you can't see through that unless light is shining into that darkness. Hence the need for a spiritual guide. You can't see it. You've been conned, which by definition means you don't even have the intelligence to bring yourself out of it. You must be intervened. Grace must come into you. You see? And rescue you from that. There is no way you will get out of it on your own. You can't get out of it. You see? Your opponent, the ego mind, is way smarter than you. By light years. You see? It's a superior opponent. And you don't know how to defeat it. You can't defeat it. You have not defeated it. You need a master player to show you the way out of it. That's grace. The masters are just manifestations of grace, that's all. Incarnations of grace coming into where you at. It's like entering into your dream to wake you up. You see? Because you're asleep. You can't hear what is beyond your dream condition. So something has to enter into the dream and wake you up. Grace does that in the form of the Guru. Otherwise, Brother Elias, there's no way out. Period. At all. You're trying to think your way out. You can't think your way out because you're not the thinker. The thinker is what's keeping you in there. You see? Following exactly what you think you should do is what guarantees you remain trapped. Guarantees it, because what you're following is not even you. It's that which is enslaving you. It's not going to show you the way out. Why would it? See? The body was given to you. The mind has co-opted and is just wreaking haylocks with it all over the place. Don't you see it?
Yes.
Just tearing this world up. using the body that was given to you for the sake of coming into the conscious experience of being divine. Co-opt your body and it's using it for pure nonsense. It's done the same thing with your intellect. All your faculties, will, reasoning, feelings, those are your faculties that has been co-opted. You're thinking, but you're thinking wrong. You see? Thinking that it's right. You've been deceived, deluded. So if by grace you're intervened, then now some love for the Lord comes. Because really, what is the ultimate victory? It's victory over the ego. She gave me the victory over the ego. My God, I didn't know. You see? I had no idea. And then something comes into your life and you realize, whoa, you know what I mean? Just as you were about to hand your $200 over for the box, something told me and said, ain't no TV in there. You're grateful because you thought you had got a deal. The money was almost in his hand. Ain't no TV in there. Let me show you. You see, it's what the guru does. They come and they tell. There's nothing in those relationships you clinging to. Nothing. You see? Maharaji came and said to us, Brother Elijah, you can verify that when you're interrogated by Bhavika, right? That in this world, you don't belong to nobody, and don't nobody belong to you. Get that straight. You follow me? Understand that. Otherwise, you're going to get conned. You're going to fall for the con. That something is mine. You see? The ego makes you think, yeah, this is yours. Now, devote your life to taking care of it. work 2 jobs and pay for it. This is yours. And it's got you. So you spend all your life working 2 jobs to pay for a house that's not even yours. And ready to fight and kill anybody that will interfere with that. Is that about right? Is that about right?
Yes.
You've been conned. So what happens, you see, Brother Elias, when the guru comes and tells us that, we don't like it. Because now we feel insulted. Now we feel that the guru is just insulting me by telling me that I don't have enough intelligence to see through this charade. Right? But you think I'm a fool? That I don't know myself? How dare you? Right? How dare you presume that you know me and I don't know me? What presumption? Don't tell me nothing. How can you tell me something about who I am? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel insulted. This is how it's going. Roger can't wait. He hope all of y'all join his school. Is that correct? He's been practicing his delivery and got all his notes together. Yes, beloved.
So it's the same thing when you say that to an ex-ego?
Hmm?
No, she is.
I had a question,
Yes, beloved.
and it's what do you think of the saying, as a man thinketh, so is he?
Yeah. True. So if you think you're the body, you think you're the mind, you think you're the emotions, You think you're your biography, so you behave. True. It's just that what you think you are, you're not that, and there's the fallacy. You see? So, and there's some basic things that have to be in place at the outset of the spiritual path. Certain things, prerequisites, if you will. Like when you went to college, you decided you're going to major in engineering. Well, there are some prerequisites, you see, that you must satisfy before you can enter into your major, right? In the same way on the path, there are prerequisites. One of them, beloved, is that you must replace the wrong concept of yourself with the right concept of yourself. Now, that's still a mental activity. You're still at a mental plane. Follow me? But that must happen. You see, the wrong view of who you are must be replaced with a right view of who you are. Because as you think it, so do you behave. You see, that's a law. It's like a logarithm, you see. So, the past, that's one of the first things you got to do. That's the whole purpose of satsang, of studying it. That's why so much emphasis is placed on satsang and study and reflection and deep contemplation of the Dharma and so forth, so that this transition or transformation may begin to occur, you see? What in Kashmir Shaivism we call Shuddha Vikapa versus Ashuddha Vikapa, you see? Right view of self. Because you tend to behave in a way that is consistent with who you think you are. Is that about right? So, if you think and you're something that you're not, you're going to behave in a way that is totally divorced from reality. Are you with me? So you have to change that. You see? That's why the mystic come and they tell us, beloved, you're not the body, you're a soul, you're a spirit, you are pure consciousness itself. You see? So that you can begin to start replacing your wrong view of yourself with a right view of yourself. It's still philosophical, it's still intellectual, you see, but it paves the way. Are you with me? It rescues you, you see? It begins to create what we call a provisional ego, you see, that will allow you to make the transition beyond the ego. But you gotta have something to rescue you from that wrong view. Now, you're a believer that after death something survives. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Something survived the death of this body, right? Yes. Well, mustn't you be that now? Is that about right? If something survived the death of this physical body, aren't you that right now? Is that right? And that clearly can't be the body, right? Tattoo on my seat. What is that you are right now that survived the body? The mystics begin to ask you to make an inquiry. You follow me? This body has relationships. And when it goes, that's the end of relationships, isn't it? Right? The body is married. The body has children. The body has a house. Blah, 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 blah. Right? And when the body goes, all of that goes. Is that correct? Now, what survives that is present right now. It coexists with the body, right? But you don't identify that as being who you are. But yet you say it survived the body. What kind of thinking is that? That's not very deep thinking, is it? It's not very clear thinking. It's no vavika. Are you with me? So it's something like that makes that law true. So when you have become intellectually convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt, you see, that you are only consciousness itself, that no matter what is arising, whether gross, subtle, or causal, You are that which is the witnessing consciousness of that. You see? When that kind of conviction has really become solid in you, right? You see, then you will begin to act like your only consciousness itself. Are you with me? That kind of avika is what generates varajya, detachment. Are you with me? And so if you remember the process in Vedanta, right? There's avika, there's varajya, then the kat sampatis, right? Samadana, uparati, so forth and so on, right? And of course, mumuksha, the intense longing. You see, the love of God. You see, but all of that comes after vavika, varajya. So you gotta have vavika. You see, so the master tells us, don't just visit the scriptures like you read in a damn novel. You follow what I'm saying? That ain't no novel. You see, you must ponder, right? You must mananda. You must deeply reflect, deeply contemplate. And you must do that every day, just like your meditation. It should be given the same importance, the same status. You see my point? Time should be set aside for it. And you must engage in that, otherwise you'll get no vavika. You see? And you will remain operating out of the wrong view of yourself. You see? So, even in Buddhism, you see, Buddha's Eightfold Path begins with what? Right view. Actually, that's the only thing. Everything else comes out of right view. There will be no right intention. You can't do the right livelihood, the right action, and all of that. You can't do any of the remaining steps without right view. Right view is essential. You see, so this is true across the spectrum of spiritual traditions. You must change the wrong view you have of yourself to the right view of yourself. And that's what the mystic come. You see, that's their gospel. That's their good news. The good news, you're not just a body. Right? That's good news. Don't you think? You know how scared you are when you get that pain in your side and you don't know where it's coming from. I mean, you messed up. See? This, you know, is on its way out. You know that. You see my point? This is on its way out. This is impermanent. This is transient. This is wrong. You see? You can't protect it from its ultimate destination, right? Which is to return to the elements, right? This thing turning back into carbon and hydrogen and helium. That's where it's going. And you can't do nothing about that, right? And you know that. So if your thinking is that this is all I am, you're in some trouble. Aren't you? Yes. You're in some serious trouble because this is on its way out of here. And it's going to be out of here sooner than later. And before it get out of here, it's going to get sick. You're not even going to have full use of it no more. It's going to get to a point you can't run, you can't walk, you ain't going to be pretty no more, so you can't dress up and buy your new outfits because you're going to be ugly, you're going to be a hag. You're going to be bald head, you ain't going to have no teeth, right? You can't get sexy no more because that's going to be gone. See my point? All of it is on its way out. Yes, sir. And everything connected to it is also on its way out. You know that. Don't you know that?
Oh, yeah.
But if you thinking, and wrongly thinking, that this is who I am, and everything that's connected to it is mine, you're in some trouble. You can never be happy with that kind of reality staring you in the face. You got to lie to yourself. You must delude yourself. Your ability to get up the next day is dependent upon your ability to delude yourself. Otherwise, you put a bullet through your head. You follow what I'm saying? Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
Don't get me started here. I got guests here. Y'all keep edging me on. I don't want to be rude up here. See, I want to fit the image of us. You know, so. I'm gonna start dressing different. Sarah Murthy in California wrote me an email. He said, "Bhagwan, why you dress so crazy? And you may have a problem. Give me a little collar. Give me a black, you know." But do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's easy to see, believe it or not. Even though you may have trouble seeing that you're not the body. You know what I mean? Because you are so convinced by the ego that that is the case. You follow what I'm saying? That you can't even doubt that anymore. The mind has totally convinced you. It has totally conned you. It's got your money. It's got your money. And you are convinced beyond all shadow of doubt that you are this body. It's got you. You just bought the Brooklyn Bridge. Done. You see? And we'll ask you for referrals if you have any friends. Done. But it's a little bit more challenging is to see that not only are you not the body, the mystic don't stop, and you're not your emotions, those feelings, nor are you the mind. Now, that one gives you trouble. You see, and you might go with this, I'm not the body thing, but I'm not the mind. That's rough. You see? That's rough. But if you persist in your studies and your practice, your samyama, setting aside that time, you begin to see how you cannot be the mind. You begin to see that there is something that is conscious of all the mental activity, that itself is good, no thinking. Start getting very profound. You're almost free there. Just a little bit more to go. And so forth and so on. Well, I'm going to relieve you from this torment here, and you can pursue the matter on your own. Someone else?
So, is the object to kill the ego or to severely weaken it over time?
Just to make it obey you rather than you obey it. Because the ego is also a part of your faculties. There's will, there's feelings, there's reason, intuition, and ego. But they should not be controlling you. You follow me? The ideal is to control it. You follow me?
So as you're going down the path, how do you know that you're making progress? How do you know that that's slowly, I mean, because I'm assuming it's not like a switch where one day it's on, one day it's off. It's kind of a progression to getting to that point. So again,
It is always self-authenticating, you see? Always self-authenticating. You will know it, you see? It has that kind of quality to it, you see? Like you know when you stood up that you was in control of the body. There was no doubt that your legs were deciding to do something that you were not in control of, right? It's like that. So your thinking falls under your control. But now your thinking is not under your control at all. You're under its control, right? So even when you sit in your meditation and you want to stop thinking, you don't have a shot at it. Is that about right? And you tell the mind, leave me alone. Mind, you got, Your attention, you have no control over that. Your attention is just up for free grab. Is that about right? Yeah. You see. And quiet is kept, even with your body, you have no control over that. You can't stop it from aging. I don't care how much vitamins you take and how, conscientious you are about what you eat. This body is going to grow old, get sick, and it's going to die. There ain't nothing you can do about that. Jesus said it best. You can't change one hair gray. Nothing. Follow me? I mean, this gets to be profound, beloved. You see. But the ideal, Leosop, of course, is that you want to control this thing. It's supposed to be your servant. The mind is a great servant. The ability to think is a great servant, Maharaj used to say, but it's a bad master. It's a very bad master. It wasn't intended to master you. It was intended to serve you. But it's because it's so slick, it has convinced you that it is you. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
This shook Faraji up. Right? It really convinced you. Right? And the mind is what? Addicted. Mind is an addiction. It has an addicting nature by nature. Right? And unless it's controlled, it's like a kid. You give a kid the choice as to what they will eat for dinner. We'll eat syrup sandwiches and 3 months to 2 years, whatever. We're not going to eat no beans. You understand what I'm saying? Mine is like that. It likes pleasure. You follow me? So it will only use this body exclusively in the pursuit of pleasurization. Right? It won't use it for any higher purpose than that. It would use it to get some food, sex, bodily comfort, and help in some way to get it to make money or blah, blah, blah. And that's all it would use it for. Are you with me? It will not use it for meditation. It will not use it for savor. At all. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
The emotions will be misused as well. The mental faculties you have will also be misused. You see, we combine them all and you get a kind of psychosocial phenomena where you become addicted to praise. It's an addiction, you see? And that's what you're addicted to, right? Isn't that what the mystics say? You're addicted to praise. You call it vanity, but you're addicted to praise. That's what vanity is. You are a praise addict, and you're addicted to it. You're addicted to the approval of other people. You're an addict. Are you with me? You're addicted to being right. You're addicted to fill in the blank. But it's an addiction. All right? That's all it is. An addiction. And that has to be dealt with. So it's about taking control, Leosai, of what you've been given. All of this beautiful, precious human body with all of its faculties. I mean, this thing is amazing. This body-mind complex. This is amazing. You see? This thing is as profound as the universe. More profound, in fact. You follow what I'm saying? And what are you doing with it? Using it to get your ego stroked. And that's it. Mystics say that it's the wrong use of your body and mind. That's not the purpose. You see? Even to have this human body mind automatically stands you at the highest level of existence here on this plane, right? And the purpose of human existence is not to look pretty. It's not to win approval and praise from everybody you see. Are you with me? That's not the purpose of human existence. But your ego has convinced you that that's the purpose of you having all of this. So it's like that, little son. Now, Faraji, did you talk to Devataji? Afterwards, okay. Yeah, because you all, Kula Group, I will be sending this consideration to you. So that'll be good. So Devataji, you know what to do, all right? So process that down to the tiniest detail, so that you understand. You've been conned. And you don't even know it. Your enemy is hiding inside of you, and you think it's the person sitting next to you. You think the white man is your enemy, the black man is your enemy, that this or that is your enemy, and you don't even know the enemy is sitting right behind your two eyes in the form of your own mind, ego. So I know that all that I've said here today is just words. And most of these words will go in one ear and out the other ear, because your ego is going to convince you that none of what I've said pertains to you. But what I've said is a perfect description of everybody else sitting here, except you. And it reminds you not to listen to Bhagwan on this particular matter. You see? Discount that. You know, I know who I am. Ain't nobody coming to me. That's how it goes. And so the mystic come and tell us, they explain the lila. In Sanskrit we call it lila, the game. There's a game going on here. There's a lila. And you need to understand the lila. So, from the very outset of the path, there must be the practice of the non-identification with the body, mind, ego, self, as being who and what you are. That must be practiced mentally. There must be the transition from this continually operating out of the wrong view of yourself. Now I know that's hard to really even hear, let alone process, to the point of embracing that point of view. You have to investigate this. I mean, really sit with it. It's profound, very deep. What the Buddha called Gabir, deep knowledge. You see, the Paramita Prajna, the perfect knowledge, is to know this. Something else to say about it? Yes, beloved.
Stand up, stand up. Stand up. I can't see.
I have this dilemma in my mind. Anyway, there are people that hang out in back of my
building where I live, in the alley, and the building is right on the alley. And so it's become a hangout in the community for a long time, but for some reason now it's really bothering me. So I go out there and I kind of harass them.
Now listen to that.
And I
You're
tell them,
95 pounds, and you're harassing people.
and I tell them why they shouldn't do it, you know. And I try to, you know, and so then I do other things too. Like, I think that when I'm passing young people and they're cursing or whatever, then I'm supposed to counsel them on why they shouldn't curse and why cursing is bad for you. And then sometimes I even try to break up fights, and then I will.
You got to say.
and then I'm like torn, like, what, don't I have a responsibility to the young people, and shouldn't I try to have a nice community and blah, 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 then I don't know what to do. And then after I do it, like especially when I was harassing the people in the alley yesterday, I kind of felt bad, and why are you bothering them? And so then I don't know what to do.
Well, you got off easy. You don't want to shoot you or beat you up, you know. But I understand your point. And you suffer from the Sabananda disease. So that's a hard one to cure, sister. But of course, I know that you are guru. So always defer to what your own guru would tell you to do about that, you see. And I don't want to overstep my boundaries here, you see. So you should present that to your guru, you see. Send her a letter or however you communicate about that, you see. And get that answer directly from her. And then you can have a clear understanding of what you should do in that situation. From my own point of view, one of the things is that the cause of Sabananda disease in people is they don't understand something very simple, that life is not the way it's supposed to be. It is the way it is.
Yes, sir.
Got it? So we want the world to be the way we think it's supposed to be. That supposed to be has a name, beloved. We call it samsara. Samsara is a world you created to replace the way the world is. You see? You still think this place is utopia, that you can make utopia here, that everybody will hold hands and sing kumbaya. That's not what happens here. You see? This is not Disneyland. This is Spinda. This is not paradise. This is not heaven. There's not going to be any peace on earth. You see? And you thinking it's supposed to be peace on earth. The Sabananda disease is the result of an absence of seeing things the way things really are and really understanding nothing here is ever going to conform to how you think it's supposed to be. Because the ego going to always suppose things to be of the way by which it will be made comfortable. Be the way it likes things to be. And that's not happening here. It's not intended to happen here. What you think you're seeing, it's not even what's happening at all. It's an appearance. It's a rope appearing as a snake. All those bad people you see that you want to correct, That's God. But you can't see God. You see. You see other people as you see yourself. That's a law. Is that correctivology? Correctivology is my, guinea pig. I put them through the steps already. Whatever concept you have of who or what you automatically presume that that's who everyone else is. See? So you must understand. And you say that this is wrong. Nothing wrong is happening here. And then what does the will of God have to do with it? Have you factored that in? How you know that's not the will of God? You don't mess with God's will. You got them kind of kuhanas? What in Sanskrit we call hukum, maj. Jesus said not even a leaf fall from the tree without the Lord's maj. So you think something happened here that is not the will of God and you're going to have to correct it? Sebananda? No watch? Why are you holding your head down? You writing or you changing? You're hiding now. Okay. So when you have this kind of pataka, this kind of absence of ability to see things as things really are, and rather see things as being wrong because they're not the way they're supposed to be, you see, there's something wrong with your seeing. How you seeing things, something wrong with that, because you see everything is wrong. What do you see that is right? Did you see anything right about them thugs down there? Smoking them weed fools? You see anything good about them?
They were smiling.
Okay. There you go. Now use your own technique. I listened to you all's school meeting. Remember? Reframe it. Can you reframe it?
Refrain from bothering them?
No. Before that, you have to do a different reframe. You got to reframe how you're seeing them. Remember, you get told the story in the Kula meeting. You shared that beautiful technique, with Buddha Dasa, to get some of that cynicism out.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
All right. Well, position, heal thyself. Don't you think?
Right.
Was the good advice Buddha Dasa?
Yes, absolutely.
Now use it.
Okay.
Just reframe it, See them all as your little brothers and whatever you want to do. And you said it right. It don't even have to be true. It's all about perception. That's all right. Perception. It's your construct. You're creating it. Ain't nobody messing with you. You're creating all of that in your mind based on how you see that. Make sense, brother? Now write your guru and see what comes back to you. And if the two line up, then good. If my eyes don't line up with her, hey, dismiss me. It's that simple. Fair enough? Yes, Netanyahu and then Leo Sa.
Okay, I really, you so eloquently put what is not our purpose. Can you, if all is of God and that which is made stardust, I like the science part as a scientist, but I do find my heart sometimes saying, if all is of God, why am I keep trying to get away from this body-mind? I don't even understand what the Creator is, that which creates stardust, created me, and I'm supposed to conceptualize that?
If you can conceptualize stardust, what's the problem?
The problem is my heart and my mind.
That's the problem.
And I'm still going, what's my purpose? As much as I keep thinking I know
What
it.
is your purpose?
I'm asking you.
I love this woman. does the saints say about it? What do they say is the purpose of human existence? And actually not, Netanyahu, you have really put to yourself a profound question, and that's one of the prerequisites. That's one of the questions you must answer. You see? Being on the spiritual path is supposed to be the answer to that question in the first place. But if it's not, okay, no problem. You see? But now you really got to, you see, enter into that question. What is the purpose of human existence? And go into that. And be fearless and bring all of that intellect that you possess. You follow me? All of that scientific capacity to see things objectively and set aside how you want it to be and see it how it really is. What is the purpose of human existence? Until you find that out, you really can't live with any degree of accuracy. It's going to always be confusion. Always this way, that way. Because that's a state of indecision. And as long as you remain in a state of indecisiveness, life is not going to work because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You follow me? You're not intellectually or mentally, philosophically convicted as to what is the purpose of human existence. Now that has a lot to do now with the inquiry, right, into the nature of reality. It's a big consideration, you see. Is there a God? Is there not a God? Because that also will determine what's the purpose of existence, you see. I remember when I was about 10 or 11, we were staying on Washington, and I was trying to decide, well, what I want to do, you know. Well, at that age, you know, you have kids, so they think about, well, what I want to be. Some want to be a cop, some want to be a fireman, some want to be an NBA, some want to be a pimp, some want to be a pimp. You know, all kinds of things. Well, the thing that popped up in my head was that, well, I want to be a psychiatrist and make a lot of money and all of this stuff here. But somehow I stumbled into a deeper layer of that consideration as to what I want to be. And I discovered in that moment that I was in a dilemma, because before I can really decide what I would do with the rest of my life, remember I'm only 10, 11 years old. I'm presuming I'm going to live to be 150. That's a long time. So I want to make sure. You know what I mean? The dilemma I ran into was, well, first I got to decide, is there a God or is there not a God? Because that's going to determine, you see. I begin to see that what I'm going to do in my life hedges on whether there is or there is not God. Because if there's God, right, then that's got to become the purpose of my life. Now, if there's not a God, then I had another, you know, I was at a fork. You know what I mean? And it became important now that I find out, is there or is there not a God? And I got to resolve that. You follow what I'm saying? I was stuck. Is there a God or is there not a God? Because until you resolve that dilemma, how can you set a purpose? Right? Because if there's a God, then there's all kinds of implications for your life and living. Is that about right? Because if there's a God Almighty, right, then I got to live a certain kind of way. Are you with me? I just can't be out here just doing anything I want. I got to try to be moral. I wasn't good at it, but at least I understood the necessity for it. You follow what I'm saying? Because there's judgments. You know what I mean? You reap what you sow and all of that stuff, right? Now, if there's not God, you know what I mean? And I was kind of hoping, you see. Right? I went into science to investigate, because those are the things, you know.
That's
right?
their wages.
Right. So I began to study all the scriptures that I could in my little bitty tiny mind. You know, later on in life, I was able to gain access to some real serious considerations relative to whether God exists or not. But I also, at the same time, was beginning to make a very superficial investigation into what scientists had to say about it. Because there were two schools of authority. One was the church and and preachers and priests and theologians. The other one was physicists, right? So I wanted to hear both arguments before I make a decision, right? So I made a simultaneous investigation. You see, of course, again, 11 years old, I can't do much, but over the course of my life, I was able to get access to more and more sophisticated arguments and cases being made, you see. So what I found was very interesting, Netagaji, as I went deeper in both directions, you know, from reading the New Testament, you know what I mean, to, you know, going through all of the literatures of the East and all of these other things, you see. When I went from, you know, basic science into quantum mechanics, string theory, symmetry, you know what I mean? When I went deep into science, and when I went deep this way, they all converged, right? And it became clear what the purpose of human existence is. You follow? But you got to make the same investigation. You follow what I'm saying? You got to find that out. No one can tell you that. That's your work. Are you with me? You see? And you will not even value what you're being told because you have not put any effort into it. You follow what I'm saying? You paid no price. There's been no sweat, tears, and blood. You know, you're not made to search. And you got to search and find for you that answer. See? Or make the search and see if it validates what the mystics have been saying since time immemorial. The mystics, since time immemorial, have been saying the purpose of human existence is self and God realization. It has no other purpose. All right? To devote your lifetime to anything less than that is to piss away your life, because you will simply be devoting your time, energy, and attention to that which is transient. Are you with me? Impermanent, not lasting, not fulfilling, not satisfying. You see? And you need to validate that. See, is that so? See how it is so. Just don't accept it as a level of dogma. You see, we start with dogma, but you got to get past dogma. You see, some of you all here are stuck in dogma and doctrine. You got to get past dogma and doctrine. It's a stepping stone. You see, nothing wrong with it, but you got to go beyond that. You got to have something more than that. Dogma and doctrine is not like anybody. You see? The purpose of human existence, so say the mystics, is to be capable of love under all conditions and circumstances. It's another way of putting it. To always be capable of being the agency and the source of love under all conditions. You see, that's the test that must be passed here in this school. See if you can be loved. Jesus says, see if you can do this thing. When somebody slaps you on one cheek, turn the other. If somebody asks you for this, give them a shirt. See if you can do this. It's the test. That's what the mystics say. What does Yah say? To be famous, to have worldwide recognition, to have influence, to have power, to have, this and that. Ego Yah says that's the purpose of life. And that's what Ego Yah devotes her lifetime to. And even when Ego Yah gets that, it's empty. You need another hit. You see my point? And you would do anything for that hit. Anything. You see? All the crazy, dastardly things people do in this world is for that ego hit. Ego will do anything to get that hit. That approval. That praise. Praise me. Somebody praise me. Please praise me. Validate my perfection and my infallibility. Convince me that everything I do is right. I don't want to be wrong. without knowing the purpose of your life, the purpose of human existence, how would you know your duty and what is not your duty? I mean, Netayaji explored, beloved. You see, that's intellect you were given. It's not just to enable you to become an what is your profession? Epidemiologist, right? You're investigating diseases and so forth. So now you need to understand that the greatest disease is ignorance.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now how are we going to cure that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
HIV is bad in the world, true, but ignorance is killing a lot more people than HIV.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let your research be involved in how to cure us of this disease called ignorance. Get into this thing. You see, get into a cooler group. You ain't doing nothing that important with your time. Dancing and looking pretty, that ain't gonna liberate nobody. Is that about right? I'm not against you being pretty, but you know, all right, you done did that. Okay, let's do something new now. Turn that over to Oswald. You know, give all your pretty clothes. Let Oswald carry on your legacy. You're beautiful. We got higher work to do here. You see my point? Let's get into business. So you got to look and see now. You see, does what you call duty line up with the purpose of human existence? Consider that. Consider that. Or is what you've been calling your duty just your attachment, something you're doing for the sake of self-gratification, and you calling that duty? You have to understand the distinctions. You see, your ego has conned you into thinking that your attachment is your duty. You've been conned. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Because of this misidentification with the body-mind and that generates the sense of being this separate ego self, you have become convinced then that your duty is to eat, drink, and be merry. You're an Epicurean. You see? That about right? You call that your duty, not your meditation. You don't see your meditation as your duty. Oh no. That ain't your duty. You don't feel, if you miss meditation, that shit don't even bother you. At all. You go right along the day as if nothing has happened. In fact, at the end of that day, you say, I had a pretty good day. But you did no meditation, you did no saving, you did no studying, you did nothing that is lined up with the purpose of your existence. And you call all these attachments, those my duty. That's your attachment. Attachment is just that you do strictly because it gives you some satisfaction at the level of the senses, the body and mind. That's all you're doing. From the point of the mystic, you're not doing anything like you do. You see. Your life is not governed by Dhamma. You see, Sanskrit Dhamma has many layers of meaning. The most ancient and basic meaning of the word Dhamma is duty. Duty. You see, you are to live a life based on Dhamma, duty. But that duty that the mystics are talking about is that duty that is aligned with the fulfillment of the purpose of human existence. You see, if what you're doing is not contributing to your moving toward self and God realization, then that's not your duty. Your duty consists only of those activities and things that contribute to that goal being reached. If it don't, that ain't your duty, it's your attachment. And don't get it twisted. But as long as you don't understand the distinction, you're going to go on involved in your attachment, thinking it's duty. You see, you're attached to your job more than you are doing it as duty. Your attachment is where you go to get your hit, your recognition. You get your addiction to approval, praise, gratified. And he said, oh, I work 3 jobs because it's my duty. No, man, that ain't your duty. It's your attachment. You've been caught. You're deluded. I think I said enough. I want to get out of this place in one piece. Who will have the last word? Leo Sa, yes, beloved.
It's almost lost the thought of my question, but I want to go back to the prior question. And I'm trying to connect the dots here. At least they've given Shakespeare the credit of saying that there is no such thing as right or wrong, but the mind makes it so.
Correct.
So I was trying to tie that to some of the conversations that we had today about ego and mind, and how all that, back to her question about how that fits in and ties in all together.
Yeah, well, what Shakespeare said is the formula that accounts for all of your values. What you value has no value inherently. It's what you give it. You see, you say that this thing is valued as if you're making some kind of absolute pronouncement about its true nature. It's not. You're projecting it on it. Are you with me? So the same thing you do with good and bad, you do with what is important, not important, what is valuable, what is not valuable. All of that is your thinking. And what is worse, Leo Saab, you actually believe that the thinker doing the thinking is you. So you're not prepared to even question it at all. You see? So when the saints come and say, look, first order of business, you got to submit, surrender, all right? Get into right relationship. Guru say, disciple do. Set aside your thinking. I'm your mind. You follow what I'm saying? The guru becomes your mind, not your mind. If the guru says, dye your prayer cloth in wine, says Kabir, then you dye in wine. You see, sacrilege. If the guru tell you to hang your clothes out at midnight for them to dry, you hang them out, even though there's no sun out there. The ideal is that you have to replace your whole brain, mind, thinking with a higher source. That's discipleship. That's what it means to be Guru Mukha. See, not that. She's heading in that direction. But the point is, that's the task for every disciple, is to become a Guru Mukha. Understanding that you're not following and falling for this trick of the ego no more. You've seen through it, right? And so now you have a central thought now to organize your thinking around something other than your ego self. See, all your thinking revolves around your identification with the body-mind as being who and what you are. All your thinking revolves around that, you see. That central thought must be replaced. Now all your thinking has to be revolved around, what would the gurus want me to do? What would the guru want me to do? Or what would God have me do? What would God have me do? And no longer doing what your mind is telling you, because your mind is never going to tell you the truth. Are you following me? You have to understand this here. You actually think your mind is your best friend. Your mind is not your best friend in the present relationship you have with it. Your mind is your worst enemy. And you are following it blindly under the illusion that that's your best friend. You're thinking, what I think, what I think, what I think. I think this, I think that. That's the worst mistake you can make on the path, is to follow what I think. Because then you follow nothing but ego. And when you think you are the thinker, then there's almost no hope for you. You will simply always be an apostle of rebellion. You see? Are you with me? You will not make use of your advantage by even having a guru, because you're not going to follow the guru. on nothing that is inconsistent with what you think, which really means what my ego think. The master said meditate. Now I gotta go check with my ego. The master, I should meditate. Should I meditate or not meditate? You see, you gotta go check with your damn ego. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Are you feeling me?
Yes, sir.
So that whole central thought around which your whole way of thinking and acting, you see, has to be changed. You see? And you must follow the guru, or whoever you accept as guru. Otherwise, there's no point in having a guru. What point is having a guru if you're not going to follow the guru? Come on. Who we kidding? It's pointless. You see? If you have a guru, you're not going to follow the guru. You're just playing religion. You're playing a game with yourself. That's more ego stuff. You see? That's all going on. You see? That's just the ego arrogating to itself the status of being I'm a spiritual person, I got a guru. But you're not doing anything that your guru tells you to do. Nothing. You see? Or you're editing it based on consulting with your ego, your body, your mind, your mood, how you feel. Are you with me? The alarm clock goes off. It's the time you have set. Right? Then you're going to check with your body. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to get up out of this? Or you check with your mood. Hey, mood, do you feel like doing that? Or intellect. Well, what is the point in doing meditation? I can't concentrate. That's what you do. And then you claim you have a guru. You see my point? That you're not following no guru. At least not the guru. You following your mind. Your mind is your guru. You're a mamuk. You're a mamuk. You are a follower of the ego mind. And that will be your destiny too. Make no mistake about it. Right? It's beautiful when you understand how this thing works, you see. In Christianity, that's our prayer, isn't it? You know, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, etc., etc. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. Not your will, the ego will. What you calling your will is the ego will. You're a slave. You don't have no freedom. You're being ran entirely by your ego. Even when you say my ego, that's your ego talking.
Yeah.
It's way smarter than you. It said, oh, look at what your ego is doing. Look at your ego is really out of whack here. That's the ego doing that. It creates a false ego and make you look at that while it stands in the back and still runs the show. You understand what I'm saying? There's no safety route. Follow the guru. That's the only way you know. You see? And how would you know you're following the guru? Because you will not like it. No matter how you define yourself.
Yeah.
You won't like it. It will not feel good. It will not be gratifying. Are you with me? That's how you know you're following the guru. The guru is anti-ego. You see? So when the alarm clock goes at 4 o'clock, you check with the body, you see? You're not going to ever get their vote to do practice, right? But if you get up, it ain't going to feel good, but you're going to do what the guru say. You see? You ain't going, the body ain't going to want to, I don't want to meditate, I don't feel like it, but you're going to get up because I'm in control, not you, and I'm following it. Anything else other than that, beloved, it's just bullshit. You're just bullshitting yourself. And that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Just bullshitting yourself. And you will have the rewards of that. Because you will grow old. You will get sick. And you will enter into the dying process. And then you will know that what the mystics have said is true. Buddha, Mahavira, Kabir, Jesus, Muhammad, and 10,000 other enlightened sages, They're not lying. They're not lying to you. But your ego has convinced you that you are omniscient and you know every damn thing and you know what you're doing and you're going to pay a hell of a price for that. You're going to suffer a kind of suffering that you can't even imagine now. You're going to encounter pain that you did not even know existed. A regret that is bottomless. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So on this day, decide, says Jesus, whom will you follow? God or man?
Let me help you put it over.
days we have no man could ever take. Just the two of us now could ask for more. We may not have the answers to it. No one knows what tomorrow brings. But as long as I have you, there's no mistake that the world is ours to do most anything. Baby, just as long as we have love, two shoulders we can lean on if we fall. Baby, just as long as we have love, we'll have it all.
We may not have a change of clothes to wear. The price of love is all we pay. We can show the world when two hearts beat together. We don't even need to know the time of day. Get out the people, keep their weapons burning. Find guns and fancy guns. There's no price to pay for treasures built between us. We can share the world 'cause we have everything. Baby, just as long as we have love,
Two shoulders we can lean on
if we fall.
baby, just as long as we have love, we'll have it all. Baby, just as long as we have love, two shoulders we can lean on if we fall. Just as long as we have love, two shoulders we can lean on
If we fall.
baby, just as long as we have love, two shoulders we can lean on
If we fall.
just as long as we have
Loving you has made my life much sweeter, baby. Baby, since I've got you, everything is alright. When I'm loving you, I feel so good inside, ooh, baby. When I make love to you, I'm in paradise. I'm in paradise. Oh, you make me feel so good from my feels so good. From my head down to my toes. And sometimes I wanna shout. I wanna stay your love is so good, so good, so good to me. Oh, loving you has made my life much sweeter, baby. Baby, since I've got you, everything is alright. Everything's alright. You're my baby, everything's alright. Feels alright. My little bitty love. Feels alright. Feels alright. Everything's alright. Everything's alright. You're so good. Just you're so good. Make it alright. Feels so good inside me. Everything that looks so good in my mind. Long as I keep food on the table. Long as I keep the bills paid, baby. Long as I'm loving you. Long as you're loving me. Everything is alright. Long as I'm this way, taking care of you. Paradise.
I want you to come over here and get some of her mommy. Mary.
You can be on the camera. I don't want to be on the camera.
You gotta be on
For the record, I dreamed that baby. That's how she looked. Her name in my dream was Aaliyah, a gift from God. For real, that's the truth. I dreamed that baby. That's
Oh, no, she fine now that she got it.
See the camera?
These back is so nice. Look how big and they got her ears pierced already and everything.
She got them pierced, yes?
I finally get it.
Oh, okay. She took that pretty good.
That's right.
All right.
Little baby.
Say her name on camera. Jemaya. Let the proud great-great-grandfather get in there.
She be right at 4 months now.
3 months? 3 months? All right. I'm going to be ready to get
I just said this one. If you don't use one,
You looking at the camera?
I'm not, I'm trying to be